What's up? Honor Hammer 26. I'm here to give you my ROH Final Countdown Tour Dayton review. This is the first time I've done a Ring of Honor review since Death Force Honor Night 2. I did that back in September, so this is a long time coming. Overall, this show was, I expected actually a little more out of it, since this is the Final Countdown Tour and all. There were two really good matches. I'd even go say there were two really great matches. But there were some filler. It wasn't really bad. Nothing really bad on here that didn't have a purpose. But there was still some stuff that just was kind of iffy. And I'll get to that. So first match we had was Eddie Edwards with Brent Albright. This opener was going perfectly fine until there was a run-in, and that kind of just ruined the match for me. It was just okay. Edwards did look very good as a singles competitor. Albright did have a little bit of good chemistry with Eddie Edwards. I was very surprised to see that, actually, because I thought they might have two different styles. But Eddie Edwards and Brent Albright did have a good little match together. But the ending kind of ruined it for me. I'm only going to give it 2.5. Not all that. It was just okay. It could have been a little bit better. Next we got House of Truth, Kristen Abel and Josh Raymond versus the Dark City Fight Club, John Davis and Corey Chavis. This match was a little better than the opener. One member House of Truth is so much better than the other. It kind of pissed me off. I mean, Josh Raymond is very good. He might need to have a singles run in Ring of Honor. If they had a secondary title, he'd be perfect for that. And Chris Danielson just has terrible ring attire, and it's just not very good. I don't like him all that much. And the one cool move he did at Violent Tendencies he didn't do in this match, so it's just like, what the hell. And Josh Raymond did his really cool move, and he did a couple more, which was very cool to see. As always, the Dark City Fight Club did their thing. Very dominating powerhouse, and then the first part of this match was very dull, kind of slow, but then once it picked up, it didn't stop, and right at the high point of this match, you could tell the finish was going to come at any point. The Dark City Fight Club hit their finisher, which looked very good here, because they got kind of a weird camera angle on it, but you could see kind of, I forget when they hit it on, the Dark City Driver, or whatever the hell they call it, but the throw up in the air and the neckbreaker powerbomb thing, but they threw him down. You could see his head jar when he hit the camera, so it was pretty nasty. But 2 3/4 stars there. It was an okay match, almost good. Next we got a match that was the worst match of the night, but it had a purpose, and I'll get to that. Jimmy Rave versus Grizzly Redwood. This match was a rematch from a cut above the last Dayton event. This match was on par with that one. These were both squash matches and not that good. I'm going to give this one a star. Not that bad, but post-match, Jimmy Rave attacks Grizzly Redwood, and then the Necro Butcher comes out, who is kind of Grizzly Redwood's one of his best friends on the roster, and they brawl over the arena, and this brawl was very cool. I liked it a lot. I didn't even go far to say it was awesome. A lot of good spots. It reminded me actually a lot of maybe the CZW ROH stuff, which Necro was involved in. Maybe you could think of the cool brawl from, I think it was Weekend of Champions Night 1, with the one Necro was involved in with Ace Steel, and I think Jimmy Rave and Ace Steel are a little similar. Not terribly similar, but they kind of have some of the same moves, and it just reminded me a lot of that and how good Necro was in that brawl. He was here, and they just set up the dog collar match for the next night in Chicago perfectly, and I was very glad to see it. But overall, just a star for Rave and Redwood. Then we got, this is kind of tied for match of the night. I really haven't decided between this and the main event. Davey Richards versus Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio Castagnoli always works a little better with smaller men, smaller and pure technical wrestling guys. Davey Richards is a prime example of that, and my favorite wrestler on the Ring of Honor roster. So overall, this match was just, man, was this amazing. First 5 or so minutes was just pure wrestling, and then it was just, you got to see this DVD for this match. I mean, this and the main event. Just, man, this DVD was very. I mean, there were other good matches, but these were the 2 matches you got to buy the DVD for, if you want the DVD. But this match also, Claudio Castagnoli did the no-handed torture rack spinning thing, but this is probably the fastest I've ever seen him do it. And then he also, after he put his hands down, put his hands back up and did not miss a beat, and then threw him down, which I was like, really, that was really cool in my book. I'm gonna give this 4 1/4. Just, man, this match was just very good. And I was going back between 4 and 4 1/4 for this match for a very long time. I'm gonna give it 4 1/4 just because the ending sequence was just amazing. And some of the other matches on this card did not have that. This did, so I'm gonna reward it for that. Then we got a match that kind of under-delivered and held back. I wonder why. because they faced 8 days later in a match that apparently was very, very great. The Briscoes versus the Young Bucks. As I said, they kind of under-delivered and held back a little bit because they faced it Global and 8 the final countdown. But for what it was pretty good. You could tell where the match would have gone if they wanted to make it great here, and they kind of just ended it right there, which was kind of iffy. But the Briscoe brothers and Young Bucks did have chemistry for what they had, which was a basic Young Bucks match, was just they fly around, the Briscoes just brawl with them, and it was kind of the high flyer versus the brawlers, see how they collide, and they did put on some very good things. But just like the tag team match from earlier, the first part of the match was just kind of dull and not very great, but then once it got going, it was very good, and it would have been great even if they had like 5 or 10 more minutes. Well, 5 or 7. Then we got Rasche Brown versus Silas Young. This match was just a squash match. It was more entertaining than the first squash match, but it still just wasn't all that. I'm just giving it a star and a half. Not all that much here. Just Rasche Brown, I don't know. I'm just not a very big fan of his. I mean, he's good, but I'm just not a very big fan of his. Silas Young, I don't like at all. So these are two guys that I'm never really going to get behind, or as of right now, I'm not behind. So, star and a half, not that much. We'll move on. Next, we got the tag team match. Colt Cabana and Petey Williams versus Austin Aries and Rhett Titus. Cabana was kind of copying Petey Williams, and then Petey Williams copied Colt Cabana back. Kind of for the first 5 minutes of this match was just like comedy spots, which just Cabana is just so great at. And then Aries just kind of like stopped it, and then went into the basic Aries match, or a non-title Aries match, which just basically he did his stuff, his heel gimmick, and Titus, when tagging with him, looked very, very good here. Until I got afraid when he got busted open by a Colt Cabana elbow, which it looked pretty bad. Or not as bad as some of the other stuff we've seen, like Roderick Strong at the last Dayton show, but it still looked pretty bad to me. But he didn't miss a beat, which was very, very cool to see that an ROH student is able to do that. So I was pretty impressed by that. Then Williams hit the Canadian Destroyer on Aries, which looked very, very cool. Went forward on Titus, and then that set up the finish perfectly. So originally it was supposed to be Aries versus Williams the next night, but that because of the Final Countdown tour and Tyler Black's injury, that kind of changed around. So this match kind of, I don't think they changed the booking of it. So this was basically would have set up Williams and Aries, or Cabana versus Aries in the future, which is probably going to happen. So there's that. I'm going to give that match 3 stars. It's a pretty good tag team match, and well, it was just good in my book. Then we got the main event. The reason the show is called the Final Countdown Tour Dayton. Bryan Danielson on his Final Countdown Tour versus Chris Hero. This is probably Chris Hero's best match in the company. Second, his match with Jerry Lynn, Never Say Die was great, but this match was just a little better, had a little better dynamic to it. Because I think he has a better chemistry with Bryan Danielson over Jerry Lynn, as do most guys. But this match was just... this is your basic Bryan Danielson main event, and it did not have any filler in it. Just got right to the very fast, pure wrestling, which Hero has gotten so good at, and he has a look that works now. So that was very good to see. Then it picked up, and Bryan Danielson kind of did the young knockout kid gimmick back on Chris Hero, which was very, very cool to see as well. And then Chris Hero did his forearms, which you heard very, very well in this match, which was cool to see as well. I'm gonna give this 4. I'm gonna give this 4 1/4 because they had the same thing I liked with the Castagnoli Richards match, and these 2 matches were kind of both tied, in my opinion, for match of the night. I'm not really gonna give one to another. If I had to, I'd probably say by a hair Hero Danielson, because of the crowd was absolutely into it the entire time, and for Richards Castagnoli, they were into it after they saw that this was going to be a great match, and that was like 2 minutes in. So 4 1/4 for Danielson Hero. There's my review. See you guys later.